Hey there, it's Rob Folia, author of Real Estate Reset, and with Folia Properties at Keller Williams Realty in Nashville. And wanted to come to you today with part 3 of our real estate investment series of Does It Still Make Sense to Buy Rental Properties? I'm excited because today I haven't run the numbers yet. I'm going to be completely transparent. We're going to get this my reaction live at least live to tape. And yet I'm excited because we might have found a winner. And just off the cuff, I think it might be a winner. We're going to see. So let me share my screen and let's just go ahead and dive right in. All right. So what we've got pulled up here, and I'm going to show you the numbers in a second, is a home in 37207. It's kind of on the northern side of Nashville. That you can see there's not a ton of pictures. It's a duplex, so 2-unit building. You can see there's been some renovations. A past client of mine actually brought this one to my attention here recently, and so I figured, hey, this might be worth showcasing on the site on our videos. So we're gonna dive in and look at some numbers here in a second, but you can get a rough idea of what we're looking at. You can see gravel driveway. You can see there've been some repairs. You can see it's outside's kind of a little dirty. There's been some siding replaced. Um, Not sure why that's. I guess that's just probably a visual thing on the picture. Yeah, so it's not in the best shape, but it's also not terrible by any means. I would say, um, especially when I'm seeing some of the cosmetic updates that have happened inside of it. So let's look at some of the numbers here. And so what we're looking at here is a property here. I'll pull it up on Google so you can see where it is. Hopefully, if it wants to go, there we go. So you can see, I mean, we're on the north side of Nashville. Pretty close to, gosh, what is that main road right there? Well, there's Trinity right there. Um, so I mean, gosh, what is that? Briley. So I mean, it's relatively close to Trinity and Briley on that side of town. Um, Whites Creek Pikes. Thank you. Sorry, that's the road I was looking for. So it's is there potential for this one? I'm curious. I want to take a look at it and see. Um, you can see they are asking $365,000 for it. It's been on the market a couple of months, and so usually there's a reason behind that, but I'll leave that as an unknown. The fact that we're not looking at it in person, this is just simply a visual tour as well as just looking at the numbers. Private remarks. Well, actually, you can see it here in the public remarks too. Currently rented at 1,500 a month, basically. Lease ending January, 1,500 a month. Lease ending in April. So I mean, it's basically rented at $3,000 a month. 365 is their asking price. Shout out, by the way, to Parks. Is their listing? It's not mine, so I want to make sure I'm legit on that. They've dropped the price a couple of times. They started at 370, but they don't seem super motivated because they haven't dropped it any more than $5,000 in 2 months. But hey, that's beside the point. The reality is we've got a property where the roof was replaced in 19, HVAC was replaced in 18, getting 3,000 a month. They're asking 365. If you remember from the first two videos we talked about, because again, these videos are all about, does it make sense to buy it and finance it with where rates are right now and what you can get for a property versus the cost. Like that's what we're looking at. Now, um, so if you remember from this, we would love to find the 1% rule. We would love for this to be getting what, $3,650 a month instead of $3,000 a month, but $3,000 is pretty close. It's about as close as we're going to find in today's market. So let's take a look at some things. We're going to look at a mortgage calculator. I have not plugged in the numbers for this yet, so let's look. 365, say you're putting 25% down because that's what's going to be required if you're getting a mortgage for a multifamily property and an investment property. Property taxes on this, we're just going to use easy round numbers. We'll call it $2,000. We could take away PMI because we're putting so much down. Homeowners insurance, you're going to be probably, closer to 1,700 a month. I'm just pulling a number out of thin air, but it's going to be more than a typical 1-unit property. If you missed the explanation of why, go back to my last video and check it out. But right now you can see off the bat, $2,300 a month is what your PITI would be on this, putting 25% down. They're getting $3 grand a month. So right there, right off the bat, you're going to be able to profit almost $700 a month on this property. Granted, we're doing a super high level analysis of this one today. But I mean, if you were having somebody professionally manage it for you, you might be looking at 10% off of that three to go toward management fees. So then you're making $350 to $400 a month. Still not bad. You've got to ask yourself, is it worth it at that point? For something like this, I might consider it. It's reason I say that is when I see things like this, the fact that the HVAC was replaced 6 years ago, the roof was replaced five. That tells me that those two major expenses that could happen on an investment property, those have been taken care of. Knock on wood for those people that HVAC lasts at least another 5 to 10 years, and the roof lasts another 20. And you wouldn't have to worry about those things for quite a long time. Um, it's one of those things that you obviously have to go in and see the actual condition of, but you see the baths look updated. The kitchens, they look updated within the last 10 years or so, probably. I'd imagine some original appliances, depends how well those have been kept up. But still, if I'm making $400 on a property like this, I personally am gonna like it. One of the advantages of say a duplex over a single family home that we haven't touched too much on in previous videos is the fact that if you're paying $2,300 a month, you're on the hook for this for 30 years when you're getting a mortgage. Um, if you've got two units here and each one is rented out for $1,500 a side, granted, 1,500 is not going to cover 2,300, but if you've got a month where a tenant moves out and it takes you a couple of weeks to get it rented, get it cleaned up, get it rented, you're not going to be in the whole 2,300. You're going to be only in the whole about 800, which, as we just talked about, profit wise, that'd be about 2 months of profit. So while that's not ideal by any means, the reality is it can having it be a 2 unit property it does have its advantages, because one being vacant, I'm just trying to get at the fact that there's pros and cons to it, is what I'm saying. But there's a pretty major pro when it comes to the 2 units, the 2 unit aspect of it. So right here off the cuff, I would say for the 3 videos we've done so far, man, this is by far the winningest of the 3. Now, of course, guys, please know this is a surface level analysis of a property like this. For one, I have not done a CMA on it. Um, for all I know, the duplex down the street that's in identical condition sold for 250 last month. I don't know. I haven't looked. But it's off the cuff. What I'm seeing here, the numbers are working. The numbers are working from an investment standpoint. The criteria works because you've got the roof and the HVAC newer and all that. Like that, those are positives as well. So I'm seeing a lot of positive signs to where something like this, if I was in the market right now, I would consider going out there. Now, one last thing to consider, and that is your criteria as an investor. And in fact, that might be the next video that we end up doing, is talking a little bit more about criteria, because I think it's so, so important. You have to decide, is this a neighborhood that you want to invest in? Like I personally like Clarksville for my rental properties. I like the fact that I've just over time, that's where I've purchased. And so I like to keep my things together. And so, if you're going to take the keep my properties close together approach when it comes to rentals, then hey, does this North Nashville neighborhood, is that a neighborhood you want to keep all your properties together? It absolutely could be. You just have to decide that. I encourage my clients to take that approach with their properties, whether it's North Nashville, East Nashville, Bellevue, just Nashville in general. Have a general criteria of where you want these to be, because it's going to make keeping your finger on the pulse of the market, it's going to make that easier. So that way you're not having to then say, all right, well, North Nashville's doing this, East Nashville's doing this, Bellevue's doing this. If you're trying to manage all of Nashville, gosh, there's so much going on. It allows you to really get to know that community, and it allows you to, potentially become part of that community if you want to. There's so many pros about doing it that way, rather than having them spread out and having one here, one here, one here. When you start doing that, it just makes it a challenge. It just makes it a challenge to manage and to grow and to, gosh, it's just, just trying to say, you just got to identify it. Is this a neighborhood that you want to invest in? It absolutely could be. So if you're curious about this one, you want to know more about it, feel free to hit me up, 615-238-7578. If you're getting this, if you're seeing this on social media, just hit the comment button and let me know. Also, like and subscribe for me. It helps the channel grow. I would appreciate it. But thank y'all so much for checking out today's third part of our Does It Make Sense to Buy an Investment Property series. Appreciate y'all so much, and we'll talk soon. Thanks.